Hello friends and welcome back. I wish we had an awesome theme for this week, like we were totally gonna get some big thing done. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna start a bunch of things this week. I am leaving on Saturday. For those of you who don't know, I'm gonna do a cross-country road trip with Gigi to help her move house, and that will be very exciting. But I only have a few days before that's happening, so I wanted to get a whole bunch of stuff done that will set me up to be able to do stuff on the trip and when I get home from the trip. So let's go over to the board and we'll talk about what's going to happen, hopefully in the next couple days. Alrighty, the first thing is we can actually cross this guy off because we've mocked up the shirts that I wanted to mock up, so that's great. Okay, so for this trip, I might be wanting to hand stitch, so in the event that that happens, it would be nice to have a pirate shirt ready to go, like when I'm sitting around in the hotel at night and I'm not ready to sleep yet, but everybody else is asleep, I can be stitching a pirate shirt. So I thought it'd be cool to cut that out for the way. Balling yarn. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So I got suckered by a Instagram ad for one of these slip stitch blankets. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like. I'll put a picture up here for you. But when it came, I got it in this amazing tote, which honestly, this thing was almost $200 for the yarn for this, but you provide me a free bag and I am just giddy with excitement. I am so easy to please. Anyway, I am very excited about my rainbow blanket that is gonna come to fruition, possibly also on this trip. I don't know. But Noelle, do you know how to knit? Yeah, I do. I only know how to knit. I know how to knit. I do know how to purl, and I haven't knit actually in about 15 years. My house fire happened and I lost all my specialty yarn when that happened, and so I kind of gave up on knitting. I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I was really only just knitting and crocheting rectangular things. So scarves, blankets, you name it. So I don't know any of the stitches involved in making this blanket. Did I buy this blanket anyway, just being like, screw it, the internet will teach me? Yes, I did. And do I regret that? Not even a little bit. I will totally make a blanket out of this. So I'm very excited about it. I am interested in, there's some sort of I-cord edging that they want me to do, which I have no idea what that is or why that is, but I'm gonna look at the internet and figure that out. So I need to ball up this yarn because it's all skeins, and it's currently, I think there's 12 in here, is that right? Yeah, looks like 12. So I need to ball 12 balls of yarn so that they're easier to deal with than being on the skein before I leave. So I got a baller thingy, which I can just attach here and make balls of yarn. So that's my low-hanging fruit, and it's probably going to be the first thing I do because it seems like the easiest thing to do. So there's going to be a little bit of yarn balling for you. Okay, so the next thing is we have this Regency picnic on 8/13. When I get back on 8/1, I have a thing the next Saturday, and then this again the Saturday after that. The thing the next Saturday is that medieval fantasy outfit I needed. That's all done. This is for the weekend after that, so it's 2 weeks from when I get back, but I still would really like it if I just wasn't stressed about that. I might then, if I'm cool, have time to make another under petticoat that's maybe some taffeta in a color, which would be nice. I don't know. We'll see. I might make a new overdress. I might just wear the things I have, which is, probably what's going to happen. But in order to do that, I need to make the adjustments that were made by Nicole to my Regency gown, which I don't really know how to do. So it's just pinned in a certain way, and I gotta figure out how to make it kind of permanently that way. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that in the next couple days. I skipped over this cutting of the Williamsburg jacket. That is a stretch goal. It's also a hand sewing project, which is to make another Amalia jacket out of the Williamsburg fabric I have. So it would be good if I cut and made the lining and then also cut the jacket fabric, the outer fabric, to go ahead and take with me to make that pattern while I'm gone. And lastly, I need to send out my Patreon. Occasionally I do giveaways. Really, they're just first come, first serve. Whoever calls it first gets it kind of things. So I give stuff away on there a lot, and I have given away 5 different patterns and I need to send those out before I leave. So these are my goals for this week. This is what I'm going to try to get done. The Williamsburg thing is kind of optional, but we'll see if we can make that happen. I am excited about it. I'm going to go ball some yarn. Okay, that took like 5 hours. I thought it was gonna take like 2 hours. It took 5 hours. And it took 5 hours because the first one, I wasn't ready for a skein apparently. Like, it did not work. It bunched up the whole thing, and then I was stupid. I did a stupid thing and I took it off the chair. And then the whole thing just turned into a giant knot. So I started making a ball from the other end. Like, I got it out as far as I could, and then I started making a ball from the other end and had to like dive it through and like wind the whole. That took 3 hours. 3 hours to rewind a ball up so that I could then wind it back onto the winder. Fun times. It's done. Great. I have also done the Patreon postage situation. I just did that today, so that's fantastic. It's all done. I think I'm gonna cut out the pirate shirt now. Okay, so the pirate shirt situation. I've watched, I don't know, 8 videos on making pirate shirts, and they're all like slightly different. I mean, it's just an 18th century men's shirt, so like any pattern will be fine. I think it's like whatever at this point. So I decided to stop watching videos and just like cut out a bunch of stuff and bring it with me on this trip and then sew it together, and hopefully it will make a pirate shirt. So we'll see how that goes. I have taken notes onto a piece of paper that have a bunch of measurements that I think are me. I might make this whole shirt and it may not fit, is what I'm saying. Like, I have no idea. I also got a pirate shirt. Stop. I got an 18th century men's shirt made out of hemp from Penny River Fabrics. She was selling some of her leftovers from a show she had done. And I bought one, so I do have one that exists. But I tried it on and the armhole was too tight. So she actually just told me to send it. I was like, can I just lengthen this? And she was like, yeah, totally. But if you also want to, you can just send it back to me. I put it together. I know how to take it apart. So I did. And she's fixing that and sending it back to me because Jess is awesome. So I know what length of sleeve is too short. Like, the hole from here to inside my armpit needs to be bigger, essentially. So I've decided to give that a more generous situation. Everybody I talked to is like, oh yeah, that should be like really big. That should just, your arm should just sail right through that hole. So I mean, the hole let my arm through, but then the shirt wanted to tip backwards because of it. Wasn't good. So I have new measurements. I'm gonna go by these measurements. The whole thing still could be effed. Like, I have no idea. Let's find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a pirate shirt now to take on my trip with me, and we're gonna just like solidly hope. I am going to pin notes onto each one of the pieces that tell me what I think these things are for. So that later I'm like, why do I have this? Or why do I have, I'm gonna have a thing that will let me know what the thing is. Cool. So this linen is super fine, but So the thread keeps breaking, but the pick out of the thread is super easy on this linen. So I am having one of the best pulling experiences that I've ever had, which I'm very excited about. So I'm gonna keep on pulling threads here and hopefully get the body piece cut out. It's a little bit, my fabric is definitely wider than I need it to be, so I'm gonna pull threads in both directions and cut it, but then I can use that extra scrap to get all the collar and cuffs and stuff. All right, we're stopping for a little unauthorized ad break. Not an actual ad. FYI, these are LDH scissors, and I have never heard of them before. These are the 9-inch, and Erica got them, and she can't use them because she likes spring-loaded scissors. And I had some spring-loaded scissors that are gingers, and I actually hate them. Like, I did not like using them. They hurt my hands. So we swapped scissors, and these are nice. Like, nice. So 10 out of 10 like that. P.S. Not sponsored by LDH, but if LDH would like to sponsor me, super happy to do that. Okay, we have a body, sleeves, cuffs, collar, gussets, reinforcement things, although I might do long ones for the shoulder, we'll see. But I have extra over here should I need to cut out something else, which I will bring with me, of course. I'm gonna call that good. I think I'm gonna cut out the Williamsburg jacket now while I'm on a cutting roll, and I can make the interior lining. I love when I say things like, I'm just gonna go cut that out. No, I'm not. I'm gonna have to find some linen, which I did, and I needed 1.5 yards, and I found it in exactly 1.5 yards piece of like fairly robust linen, which is great. And I needed to wash this and dry it. So I have done that, and it's just ready for a press, and then I will cut out and create the lining. So when I bought this fabric, it said I would need 2¼ yards, and I bought 2¼ yards, and as you can see, the bodice fits almost exactly. The very little waist, but the sleeves aren't on it. So, and I don't know if there's a way to Tetris this in some other way to make it so that the sleeves can fit into this situation. I think what I'm going to do is cut out the bodice as is and bring this with me, because I don't even know if I'll get to this project, right? Like, the pirate shirt seems like a lot already. And then I'll just order another yard and have that shipped while I'm gone, and it'll be here by the time I get back, so I can cut out the sleeves and pop them on. That seems like the smartest way to go here. So that's what's going to happen. Alright, so we have the outside of the jacket cut out, except obviously the sleeves. So I can take this with me if I want. I need to cut out the lining now and maybe sew that together. Okay, we have the lining cut out, so that's that whole job completed. I am going to assemble this guy by sewing it together on my machine, because I can, while I'm here. Just to get the lining done and ready to be sewn on. You can definitely sew this by hand. It gives you instructions to do so. I'm gonna do it on my machine anyway. Okay, so these are the parts. There is definitely a strap that I have to put on still, so I have a few more instructions to do, although I actually think the strap happens way later. Like, I think it happens at the end of the creation of this whole situation. So that doesn't go on until the end. But I have this together. There is some pressing under that I need to do, and a little bit of back stitching, stay stitching kind of situation. So I'm going to do that, yeah, to make sure that it's okay to go. But then once this is done, I'm going to put this all in a bag so I can take it with me in case I have time to stitch the pieces on. Basically, you create this structure and then you stitch the fashion fabric to this. So yeah, I am pretty much there. I just need to tuck under a bunch of stuff and stitch that down and then we'll be all good. Okay, so this is all pressed under and I stitched it. In the instructions, they tell you to backstitch just this section. I decided to just do the whole thing. Like, why not? Why not? And I was like, is there a reason why I can't do this? And I'm like, whatever, I do what I want. It's mine, I own it, I'm doing it. I mean, I don't see a reason not to. So I'm gonna give this whole thing a press, and then this thing is complete for the purposes of now to take on this trip. Okay, so we have the last thing left to do, which is to make adjustments on my Regency gown. Luckily for me, I recorded the session in which Nicole pinned everything up on me, and then she told me what to do. Well, she told me where lines need to go. That is different than telling me what to do. So I did record that. I watched it. The recording is a mess because I'm trying to like listen to her and I'm not looking at where the camera is. I will insert that now for you so you can see what she said. I'm trying to figure out how that happens on this dress.
I pinned up your skirt to where you're, like, essentially there will be a band. Because your skirt can't go up to where I want this to be. This is the magic line. This place where I put pins on that side at least is the magic line. And so what we're going to do is just put a 1.5 inch strip of fabric way around, which will also be good because it's nice and strong to have like a lined strip right there. And then the skirt will come up to match that, where I, like, the skirt length is good. Skirt doesn't need to change at all. And then I took that in a little bit so that way it actually comes underneath your bust appropriately. And the same thing in back occurred where I just kind of pulled in
Wait, can I see that?
Those two seams and it just tapers out. Like, it's fine at the top, it just needs to taper down to that.
Okay, so I should, fix that.
Yep. So that way it brings up the skirt where it should be. You'll have that 1.5 inch waistband around.
Okay, so my plan of attack is to mark where the line needs to go with some pens that can iron off, and at the potential risk of of this dress, I'm not sure I'm up to this task before because I've never done an adjustment this wild before. Like, this entirely changes the structure of the dress, which makes sense because I made a pattern that was far later than I intended it to be, like in terms of what years this pattern is appropriate for. I think, I don't even know anymore. This is like late 20s and I wanted, you know, teens for Regency, or even earlier than that. So I didn't get the silhouette I wanted, so we have to change the structure of the dress, which means changing the structure of the dress, which is not something I'm like familiar with how to do, and it'll be the first time I've done that. So I'm essentially gonna take the dress apart almost completely and do some modifications and then put it back. I think what I need to do, oh good, the gardeners are here. I love it when they're here, especially when I'm filming. Here is said dress. I'm going to take this skirt off. I'm marking this line, and then I'm gonna fix these darts, and then I'm gonna make like a waist belt, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, as she said, thing to put here. So I'll make it 2.5 inches, so I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then I will cut this down, sew it on, sew that back on, and see where we're at. This is my plan. I don't know if my plan is a good plan or not, but it is the plan I have. So if I ruin this dress, the worst thing that's going to happen is I already have a dress I don't want to wear. So that's fine. I'll just make a new top half and put this skirt on. So luckily I do have some of the fabric still. So this is a good case for keep your old fabric. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Wow, that really needs to go up a lot. Okay. All right, so that is the bodice, and that pile right there is the skirts. So I have made marks where all of the pins were. I'm going to connect them up, transfer, because she only really did that on one side, so I'm going to transfer it over to the other side. I'm actually going to cut it first, and I'm going to cut it just for a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to like try to normalize these distance-wise from the bottom here, so it's at least somewhat even. I'm going to cut it first because I think it'll help the dart situation be not as complicated. But I'm also going to mark where the darts are, like at that point, because I think that'll make it easier. Then go ahead and fix the darts. So when I do that, I'll do the same thing I did here, which is to sew them together and then zigzag the bottom. But yeah, I think this should make things a little bit easier. All right, I just terrifyingly cut this off the bottom of my top. Cool. I'm gonna zigzag that and then put the darts in. Cool. Actually, I'm gonna put the darts in and then zigzag that. That's a better plan. Okay, I have fixed the darts. Here is one baby dart. There's a second one. The back has been redarted. So I'm gonna go ahead and zigzag this bottom, and then I'm gonna cut a belt for this. And I think I do want to line it, so I gotta go find some cotton to stick in there as well. Okay, we have a waistband situation. I'm going to sew it to the top and then the bottom of this dress, and then we will have a dress back together, and I will try it on and see what's what. Okay, please excuse the Hobbit shorts and obvious shoes happening here, but this is a much more fashionable silhouette. This is much higher. I also don't have my under petticoat on at all, so this is way better for sure. This is what the back looks like, and that looks good and correct. It still feels big, like this dress is slightly too big for me, is what I'm learning. That's fine. So we can work with this. So, but that doesn't happen to me too often, so I'm fine with this. Okay, this is just scrunched up, but a sash has now been applied, so definite petticoat needed. It does leave credence to me making a colored petticoat for underneath. Would definitely show through, although it doesn't seem to show through the exact color, so the brighter the better, I guess. And tied in the back, I look like a 5-year-old. I also think at some point I might bring this neck edge down lower. Like, I think that might be more flattering. I don't think today is the day for that. I don't want to make more bias binding. Although I'm kind of wondering if this is bias binding, like, or this is flat binding, because it like puckers a little bit, where I think it should be bias cut. Anyway, I'm much happier with this dress. I think it looks way better, so yeah. Alrighty, we are back in civilian clothes. I am very excited to be done with that because I was terrified of that project. Have been avoiding it for about a year now, so glad to have it done and glad everything worked out pretty good. I am going to need to put a hook and eye or two in there in the back and make a sash, and then we're all done. but I could go as is, so I'm not too stressed about it, so I'm willing to mark this off the board. And the entire task list for this week is done. I'm so excited. Okay, so it's Thursday, which means tomorrow I can edit for Friday so that this video will go live for you guys this weekend, which is great. I was hoping that would happen, and it did happen. Excellent. And then I'm on a plane on Saturday to go to New Orleans so that I can drive with Gigi across the country. So I will probably be making content on the road. Who knows? I will be sewing, hopefully, the pirate shirts. I will maybe be sewing the Williamsburg jacket, but who knows? We'll see. And I will be knitting a blanket that I don't know how to do. I don't know if that's content for this channel, though. Like, that blanket thing might just be for me. I'm not sure. If I get it done, though, and I don't film it, I will definitely show it to you in a future video. Anyway, I am very interested to hear what you guys are working on. What are you guys listening to? What are you reading? What are you watching? I watched Severance on Apple Plus. That was the most uncomfortable I felt in a very long time, but like kind of in a awesome way. Like, it was a very suspenseful, it's a suspense thriller show. That's what I would call it. It's a suspense thriller. And they don't finish it letting you know almost anything. You do find out some things that are very interesting about the people. I was convinced that I wasn't going to learn about the people and their home lives very much, but you do get to learn a little bit, so that's cool. It's good. I won't spoil it. It's good. And at first I was like, I don't know if I like this show, and then I was like, oh my god, I need to know what happens next. So that's cool. I'm a little bit upset that we don't have Ted Lasso yet. Last year it was released in July, and I love Ted Lasso. If you guys haven't seen Ted Lasso, watch Ted Lasso. Both of these shows that I'm talking about are on Apple Plus, so I don't know how many of you have Apple Plus, but if you do, Ted Lasso is the most wholesome show. We haven't started watching What We Do in the Shadows yet, and it's kind of bothering me because I kind of really want to watch it. But also, I kind of think maybe we'll wait until after I get back from my trip to watch it so that I can, you know, have a bunch of them. I like definitely having more than one at a time to watch. That's fun. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys are up to, what you're thinking about. For those of you who are at Comic-Con this weekend, I hope you're having a great time. For those of you who are going to costume college next weekend, I hope you have a fantastic. A bunch of you have mentioned that, like, you're sad that I'm not gonna go, and I'm really sorry about that. But I gotta do what feels safe. Anyway, I hope you guys all stay COVID free. That is like my greatest wish for you. Okay, I will see you guys next time, question mark. I don't know when that'll be, because I don't know, am I gonna post from the road? Maybe. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll get something done. Does that sound likely? No. How many times do I take like 5 projects with me on the road and like don't even touch one of them? How many times? I'm like, nah, I'll just sit around in the hotel room and do nothing. We'll see. Maybe having Gigi there will motivate me to do that. Alright, I will go pack and edit this video, and I'll get it up for you, and I'll see you guys next time. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!